Iowa City stuff.
Every time he gets like an IV or an injection or
I've got like 20 of these like.
yeah, these beads are insertions and he has that done every night, so he has a lot of those. And
I
then
got these blood ones.
yeah, and the blood taking. And so you get a bead that stands for, I'm trying to find it, there's some unique, like this is a
University of Iowa Hawkeye.
he knows them better than I do. Me.
Like, so like a Hawkeye, like a Hawkeye.
Yeah, he's got a birthday one because he's out there on his birthday once, and the dance marathon at Loras College he's part of.
Yeah, my name.
Anesthetic, the moon is anesthetic. He's got a couple of those.
Name.
Yeah, so I don't
My
know.
name.
Your name, right? To be honest, like these all have a meaning. I have to get the sheet out to know what it is. So that's what they do. Some of the patients who are out there quite a bit and have a lot of stuff done to them, they get earn beads of bravery. They used to just do it for the cancer patients, and then just recently, I think they started doing it for all the more chronic patients.
Shot.
No, that's the shot. You're right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Those aren't any fun, are they?
No. So we've got so many. We're twisted here, bud, but that's okay. So that's what this is.
So when did you start getting your beads, Nolan?
On my Mother's Day.
We started collecting them probably a year and a half ago because that's when they started it for the chronic patients, not just the chemo patients.
Okay.
And so we had to backlog just a little, but this is we're probably way off what we had to backlog. And then we haven't got any new beads for almost probably a year, well, probably a year and a half. So next time we go out, we have to submit our form again so that he can earn them, and then we just keep adding to them. So
it's actually like Christopher's would be like way longer
yeah,
than this.
yeah, he's good friends with Christopher Turnus. Yes,
yeah.
they both go to Carver together, and they're good buddies. And so
And
Christopher's is very long.
Yeah, unfortunately, I've seen
Cut
hers.
the cat scan.
Yeah. So he does a lot, doesn't he, Christopher? He just got out of the hospital yesterday.
Yeah, I saw that on
Didn't he?
Facebook.
Right.
So, do you get to go visit him when he's home sometimes?
Not too much.
We usually see him at school and just kind of dance marathon functions. And Christina and I chat. She's such a good resource for us.
She's been a wonderful resource for me too.
Yeah, I mean, she just
doing rooms. Yeah, she's
Yeah,
just such
she
a
just- she is.
fantastic person.
She is. So I kind of feed off her a lot. Just I don't know some questions having him and Christopher. Christopher, of course, has a whole different diagnosis, more extreme, but their daily care is almost the same. Believe it or not, Christopher's got a few more intravenous things, but a lot of the care. So they both get a full-time nurse that goes to school with them. They're the only two kids at Carver who have a nurse that goes to school with them. And so it's kind of nice having somebody that I can talk with.
Definitely.
And she just lost her nurse, and I just found her one. So now she has a full-time nurse starting tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
Again, a friend of mine's going to do it. So we try to help each other out.
How nice.
Yeah. So it all works out. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Well,
Like
let's
your
see those
dimples,
balls up
Nolan.
here.
Yeah. Talk about your room a little bit. So you want us to kind of
Look
mix?
at them.
Kind of not.
Well, do you want Hawkeyes and Steelers, or just one of them?
It's one of them.
Which one?
Steelers.
Steelers?
Would you be okay with the Hawkeyes too, since they're the same colors?
Yeah.
So what, maybe we could do mostly Steelers and a little Hawkeyes, maybe?
Maybe like half and half.
Half and half?
He's not picky.
Well, we have some ideas, but we're gonna keep them secret.
Do you like that, a surprise?
Yeah.
So like your bed, is it gonna stay bunk bed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not sure at this point. It depends on when brother gets his room, what we end up doing. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure what we're gonna do.
Okay.
We have to eventually get another set for somebody, but we're trying to decide. Nolan, we could never use the top bunk for him because at midnight we come in and cap him, and it's just too cumbersome for him to sleep up top.
Sure.
So we're trying to decide, do we keep bunk beds in here so a friend can come? Or do we put a smaller bed and let him have some sort of entertainment space so when he's up there doing his medical care at night, his siblings, and if a friend's tolerable of it,
Sure.
you know, they can have a little bit extra room. I don't know. I mean, we haven't gotten that far yet.
Well, it's a beautiful bunk bed.
Oh, it is.
Yeah,
It is.
beautiful.
It's gorgeous. And so,
So if you were to change the bed when Big Brother goes to his new room, would you stay in a twin size or would you go to a full size? What do you think?
are you asking me or him?
You.
I-
I'm asking because we'll buy new bedding, should we
so
buy
make
full
sure that
size
it's the
now?
same.
or should we stay with
We'll
twin?
probably stay with twin because
I would
if we
think
want to
so.
put any, if we do go to a single bed without the bunk beds, if we want to utilize a little bit of space for like a
Mhm.
little
And he's
gaming.
not gigantic.
No.
Right. I think we'd probably stay with
Yeah.
the twin.
Yeah.
So, part of us says we're gonna give this to brother just because we can never utilize the top bunk for
I
him.
have a good idea. You could just cut off the top and then put it downstairs.
Well, they come apart.
Yeah, they have.
They
pop
do.
right
They do
off.
come apart. But nobody wants the top bunk as a single because it looks like a baby bed, is what they told me.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's not cool.
Yeah, that's
So,
true.
we were arguing over who got
Although
that
those,
one.
although those side
Maybe they
rails
come
would come
out right
off.
here, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
that says that the side rails would come off.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, do they come off?
yeah,
Mhm.
you just
Yeah.
have to take the bolts out.
Well, then we might be okay. Then we'll already have our bed at least. Right.
So entertainment space and some shelves in the closet.
Well, we thought about eventually we do his. If you come at like 6:30 at night through my front door, generally in our living room is where we do his flushes. He has a cectostomy port. We have to do a flush. It's basically an enema every night. He has no control because of the spina bifida. Unfortunately, it's right in our living room right now. He doesn't care right now, but eventually
Right.
we're going to hopefully come upstairs and have a little bit more privacy. So we thought if he could have his own space, his medical really is stretched out, his supplies on all 3 levels right now, just because that's all we can, you know, we have some in the middle, we have some for storage in the basement, and we have some up here for quick care. But it'd be nice if we could concentrate it all to where his medical care is gonna be.
Okay.
So, do
He
you
has
want
to
look at
sit,
your
he has to
closet?
sit
Of
for
course.
Okay.
an hour
There's
and a
nothing
half
that you don't
about.
want us to see?
So,
Okay.
I mean, he's stuck in one place for
Sure.
about an hour and a half,
It'd
so.
be nice if we could
Yeah.
have a little something going on.
Yeah.
Oh, you have?
You're in Boy Scouts.
Yes, both my boys
Are you?
are. Yeah.
Awesome.
Were you a Boy Scout?
I was.
Oh, very cool.
Yep.
So what about this is not working?
Well, I think we're gonna have to bring the dresser out near these to store at one point. And then he has pull-ups, so those are a little bulky-ish. And then just the supplies actually are downstairs for the commode, but we have some sodium chloride, which is bottles of water. We have glycerin. We have measuring everything. We have big syringes. So just something to maybe bring more than just this up, you know, that we could have so that we're not constantly running down 2 floors.
What about a cabinet?
You know, I just
That's
thought
fine.
something that we could simplify it because we're trying to make him independent too,
Oh,
to do
for
some of
sure.
his care. And if it's in his room,
Because eventually he'll have to learn to do it
right,
on his own.
right. So he could have a setup where he could grab the supply, if we put the commode here, and he could just grab supplies as he needs them while he's on there and kind of mix and get, you know, that's a little bit down the road, but that was our big thing when brother moved out. That was kind of our biggest thing we wanted to do, was to get him more of his own medical care up
We
in
even talked
his room.
about, because we didn't know which way we were gonna go, we talked about moving our master to a different floor and him having our bedroom with the 2 closets.
closets,
And one
then we'd
closet
be
being his
medical,
medical
but-
stuff and one closet being his.
But then we found out how much adding on to your house is, and we decided to put it in the basement.
I was like, oh, well, small addition, and we're like, ooh, it's gonna have to be a tiny addition.
Yeah.
So we went this route instead, and it'll work. I mean, it'll work for what we need. And like I said, so much of this brother stuff will be coming out, but he's got a set of baskets for his capping stuff at night, his cups, and we have wipes that we have to use, baby wipes, before we cap every time. And it's just, it's a lot of medical stuff. So if you could keep a couple extra, even if we have some storage
Yeah,
downstairs,
even if we had,
you know, I
a
just,
few days worth, you know,
Yeah.
a week's worth. A
Yeah.
week's worth would be great.
so nothing ginormous. I'm not, you know, just something that's,
A little more convenient.
yeah, and would
But
make
you would
him
like it in
independent.
there.
Well, I mean,
No, we're not set
not
on that.
necessarily. I just
If-
thought that
if
was a
he's got
good
it,
space
yeah.
to use.
Yeah.
Because Our clothes aren't too long. But it doesn't have to be.
Yeah.
And then when I get up, we can just tap and show you.
Right.
So if we were just to build additional shelving down there with additional baskets, would that?
Oh, definitely.
Definitely.
We're not partial to what it even is material wise, anything. It's just
Okay.
we just
And I
thought
like to
something.
think, I mean, I like to think we were pretty flexible before, but especially with everything, we've had to be even more flexible. I mean, we make it work, you know, I mean,
Right.
you eventually
Right,
have
right.
to.
So,
I
but
mean, we were
no,
always
but we
pretty,
wanna do
pretty
it
adaptable before,
As
right?
best we can, but
Right.
you
Right.
have envisioned
right,
what's
right.
gonna make
And we'll
it
have
easy for
these
him as
shelves
he grows
too.
up.
And we're,
Yeah,
and
we'll
we're
have some
certainly,
shelving up
That's
here.
and we're certainly open to
You know.
suggestion too. If you think, oh gosh, you know, really think, like you said, a cabinet. We really think if you had a cabinet in there, that would. I mean, that's we're
Yeah.
open to whatever.
My vision
so.
isn't
Okay.
always this.
Yeah.
My vision. I just want functionality for
Yeah.
him,
Okay.
for the independent care, right? Yeah, he doesn't care about that side. Julia.
Well, let me take a picture of the closet.
Yeah, let's get out of the way.
No, you can be in there if you want.
Oh, no.
Are you a nurse?
Physical therapist. Yes, yeah. Or that Luther Manor.
When we buy you some new sheets and blankets for your bed, should we just go with like black and gold?
That can work. That can work.
And then you can we can decorate it with both kinds of pillows and stuff, so you can decide one night you might want Steelers and the other night you might want Hawkeyes.
Yeah. Well, we could have to keep Hawkeyes and then the pillows steal.
Oh,
Yeah, that's a great idea. Great idea. Okay. You're welcome. So what color do you think you would want your walls?
I would say like,
Can we paint them?
I would say
Can we paint
black
them?
and
Yeah.
gold.
Oh, yeah.
You guys
I
can
think
do whatever
black
you want.
and gold.
Want black and gold stuff on the
You
walls?
see our daughter, she's got 3 somewhat purple walls and a really purple wall.
You know what?
That's one thing paint
Yeah. That's easy.
Does he have to have a certain kind of paint?
Nope.
Nope. Well, latex free.
Yeah.
It has to be latex free. He's got a latex allergy, but I
Well,
think most
precaution.
paints are latex free now.
Yeah.
I think if you get into some of the enamels, which you wouldn't use on the wall anyway, you'd be fine. But yeah,
Look at this Hawkeye room we did.
you want to see it?
Oh, wait a minute. Yes, they are in here. For a second there, I thought
You can't but love the Hawkeyes, can you?
I might only have the one picture.
Yeah, definitely.
What do you think? Huh?
Awful
Special. All these people are
here
here
for
for
you.
you.
One of the students just asked, can you explain to us, spina bifida a little bit?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. His is.
Do you like that color yellow for your walls?
This is even.
Oh, those are cool.
This is even more
He's
unique.
a little complex. He's got
Well,
actually a rare form of spina bifida. It's called a tethered spinal cord. So generally when kids are born with spina bifida, they're born, you can see their spinal cord. That's a problem. They have to do surgery right
I'll
away.
do.
Huh?
I'll do the neurosurgeon, because that was, I mean, really, it's amazing. We start with 2 little cells, and so much has to go right. It's amazing how everything works out. But how we start is all our neuro stuff starts first. Our brain, our spinal cord, all that forms, and then cells differentiate to muscle, bone, tissue. So we have our spinal cord system and that, and then the other cells differentiate, and it starts to form a column like that, and that's basically how our spinal cord and that forms. Well, with him, if everything goes right, which 90% of the time everything does, everything pinches together, and your vertebrae
It's a
form and all
seal.
that, and everything's sealed. Well, everything pinched except right at the very end. He had some cells start to turn to fat cells, and so they got pinched in the spinal column. So he had
Yeah.
a fatty tumor around the bottom of his spinal cord, and he had a couple little,
The neurotubes.
yeah, a couple
Like-
little nerves, basically.
Yeah. He
That-
did have an open form of it a little bit, but to be honest, he didn't know that when he was born. He was born and he had like a big fatty
Little-
mass on his tailbone, and he had what we thought was a skin tag. So our pediatrician tied it off. 2 months later, we went about our life for 2 months. We went back for his 2-month checkup, and the fatty tissue was still there. And then the doctor went, "Oh my, what's going on here?"
Well,
And
even then he wasn't worried, because
no, he
all
wasn't
his
terribly
neurologic
worried.
signs were fine.
Yeah, but he did
everything was-
have, and so we went for an MRI, the day after Christmas was the MRI, and so he was 2 months old, and they found out when that came around, it did that pinching. You know, your spinal cord's supposed to move freely. His was fixed, and so they try to wait if it's a closed form until they say you're more robust, because I hate to do surgery on infants. It's not very advisable if they don't have to. So we did all the preliminary tests, and it did come back that it was all this. And so he had surgery 5 months, 1 day old. They right when they could, and
They
he had
removed the fatty. He basically had a fatty tumor.
an
wrapped around
8-hour
him.
surgery, and then when they got in
2
there,
months?
yeah,
5 months. He was 5 months old. Yeah.
5 months old, and he had actually one of the most severe forms this magnificent neurosurgeon in Iowa City has ever seen, Dr. Meneses. I don't know if anybody's familiar with, if you've heard the name or not. Phenomenal, world renowned. And so he actually, part of his spinal cord was, his vertebrae weren't formed.
Spinal cord was okay, but you and I, when we move, our spinal cord moves up and down in our spinal column. Well, when he removed that fatty tumor, he said his spinal cord jumped about this much because it had so much tension. So the more he was growing, the more it was stretching his
And we
spinal
were
cord.
noticing-
So he was starting to have weakness on one
Yeah,
side.
right, from 2 months to 5 months.
You
We'd
know,
stand him up and he would like limp on one side.
Yep.
We were starting to see
Yep.
some,
and they told us, he said, you know, just because he has the surgery doesn't mean he'll correct everything. If he doesn't have the surgery, he will end up in a wheelchair. He'll have a lot of pain. But just because we do the surgery doesn't mean that's going to correct everything. So he told us after, he said, I've done everything I could do. He said, but it's one of the worst cases I've seen. You know,
He said he'll take
everything
pills.
else is up.
Yeah,
up
I'm
to
not
the
sure
good
he'll
Lord. He's
walk,
like,
but he's not
yeah.
really crawling yet.
Yeah.
He's not.
And that was the hard thing.
Yeah,
because he
no
was 5
benchmarks
months.
had been met yet.
Right.
So
Everything
he
was
didn't
you
lose
were-
anything.
wait and see.
But
You
you
know,
didn't know what.
is he gonna crawl?
Yeah.
We don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you know.
But in the hospital, he got really sick and ended up with the having to be straight cath. We found out he lost all bladder and bowel control because of the surgery, because of that huge jump that we knew could wipe out that part of the spinal cord's functionality. So that's why that started.
And our hardest thing was because of the spinal cord surgery, we had to keep him on his stomach, but we couldn't hold him for 48 hours. So that
And he
was
filled with fluid. His hospital band had to cut off of him, and he just cried for like 26 hours straight. It was horrible. It was horrible. The worst part of my life, I swear. And so we had emergency MRIs at the hospital and figured out that that's what was
That's
going
an
on.
idea of my foot, and I sing like a flamingo.
Yeah, that's what he. And then,
that was
yeah,
later.
yeah, that was later. He had a
I don't
put
remember
in.
this one.
Yeah, and so
But-
we found out. Well, at 6 months he started crawling, and at a year he started walking. And when we went down there, Dr.
For a
Meneses, I think
6-month
his
follow-up.
jaw just about
Yeah.
dropped because he said, I thought for sure he would have AFOs and a walker from what I saw going on in there. So they did some documentation of this little man down there. All sorts of medical students kind of gathered quick and was like, wow.
Yeah.
That's
He,
awesome.
he asked us when we went in, he's like, so, he's like, is he moving his legs off? He said, he's walking. He's walking. I have to see this. And he's this little Indian guy about this big. I mean, but I don't like it's absolutely brilliant. But he's like, yeah, so he's like, let's go out in the hall and walk. He started to run down the hall. He's like, no. He's like, I want to see him walk. And that's where, as a PT, sometimes knowledge is, I know he's looking for what's his gait quality.
Yeah, kind of walking in.
Is he pigeon-toeing, you know, and he's like, I can't believe it. He's like, he's walking. He doesn't have any deficits. He doesn't have any weakness on
Just the bladder and
one
bowel
side.
he lost.
And
And then
that's the only thing.
the
And
sweating
they-
thing is a side effect from a
Yeah.
medicine he has to take because of the straight cathing. Otherwise, he would eventually end up with a kidney transplant because of the urinary reflux. And so it's you take everything you can, and I mean you just make it work. And so, but we've been thrilled, but he goes through a lot more
That's
than
what
I
always
could
makes
ever
him-
dream of every day.
That's what always makes him hard with everything. I think, like,
He's a
his
gray
port,
area a lot.
Everything they said is, you know, his port, you know, he's gotta not be very active. They said, like, well, how do we keep a 6-year-old not active for,
Right.
you know, 2
The
weeks?
first year he cracked 3 ports.
Yeah. And
So
they
we had to
said
go out to Iowa City to
he's
have
hard
him
to.
removed.
They said all the other kids his age we put ports in because they're in a wheelchair. We don't have to worry about them running around and jumping
Yeah.
around. So
But they were
He's-
thrilled. But yeah, the port is called a Scotsney port. He had that put in at 4 years old, because we had figured out at that point that he had no control with his bowels. We knew the bladder thing from 5 months on, but bowels they just kind of wait because it's normal for
Sure.
a 3-year-old to be in diapers yet. And by 4 they did some functionality tests and knew that he had no control over it.
And we worked on
And we worked on it. He'd be like, I think I have to go, and then he couldn't make it from here to the bathroom.
Oh.
And that's what they said. That's
It
and
just-
so
yeah.
so
He
this
just didn't
port
have the
is
control to
yeah,
hold
port.
it.
He's got it here, but it's covered because we always keep a bandage on it because it's just corkscrewed in.
Oh, okay.
You used to have to do it through my butt.
Right.
Is this better? Out the mouth of the
Yeah. He's not shy.
We used to do a rectal every night, and that's something only a parent can do to their
It
child.
hurt a lot.
And it did hurt a lot. It was not fun. We did that for about 1.5 years, the rectals, and then we were fortunate enough.
My mom always says, don't say catheter out too loud out in public, or he'll just drop his drawer. I'm just so used to doing
And then
it.
he
So.
straight cath every 4 hours. We have to go in and basically drain his bladder with a straight cath. And so,
So
but
his nurse does that at school.
his nurse does that. She does that, and she watches. The only thing with this kind of form of spina bifida is it can reoccur
Right.
until he quits
Retether.
growing, and so it can retether. And so it's a continuous monitoring of it.
Her biggest job at school, I'd say, really is the
The overheating, and he does it a
because,
lot.
Like I
Yeah.
said, gym classes struggles in gym class.
He
you know,
struggles
kids
in the
running
winter
around.
with snow pants.
Yeah, and
Oh, yeah.
He overheated
You know.
once pretty bad. Us in the middle. I mean, everybody's got snow pants, and it's freezing outside, and
I'm
fortunately,
at Bunker Hill
it's
stripping
just-
him down to
yeah,
nothing.
Because he is
Yeah.
beat red.
Yeah, and he had a seizure in October because he overheated.
Mhm.
He's shooting baskets in the school gym. We were setting up for the book
Not
fair,
not
and
major.
you know, no, just and he
Passed out
doesn't have
kind of
a.
a little bit.
He's got the stare off
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
seizure.
yeah.
So, right.
Well, I have to ask you one question though.
Yeah.
So you know that we're from UD, right?
Mm-hmm.
So can we do one little Spartan in here, maybe?
Is that okay? Can we do?
We'll hide it.
We'll
We'll
Can
hide
they
it.
do?
We'll
Can
hide
they
it
do a little?
somewhere.
Can they do a little UD party?
Can they hide
Okay.
it?
We'll hide it. We'll hide it.
You know what a Spartan is? Are you?
Nobody's.
Yeah, you
Oh,
know.
here we go. Check that out.
Yeah.
That's pretty
Can
cool.
they
that
put
okay?
that somewhere in your room?
I prefer it just talking.
Oh no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. It's your room.
You're going to University of Dubuque for Kids this year, aren't you?
Are you?
Yep.
Yeah.
I can see that right out of my window, so I'll watch for you.
Yeah. So his nurse is going with him the whole week, and it worked out perfect, didn't it?
Yeah, you guys got a tough sell putting Smart in. We're at the Laura Stance Marathon. We're both
Yeah.
Smart graduates. So yeah, now you got an uphill sell with that.
Right.
I bet your nurse just thinks you're pretty special.
Oh my gosh, and she's just phenomenal. I
Yeah.
can't even. She's got a 4th grade boy and a 2nd grade boy, so she gets boys. And she's just phenomenal. We're so
Isn't that
grateful.
wonderful?
I tell her that all the time. I mean,
Yeah.
what would we do without you?
She's exceptional.
Now, is she hired through the school?
She is not. It's a private duty
Community
nurse. Yeah, the school won't hire a nurse full time. It has to be a para. That's initially what they gave him in kindergarten. Was educational
She was-
para, and then she came to school the
Deer
first
in the
day,
headlights.
and we told her what her job was, and she went, huh? And she was nervous, and so I went to school every day and straight cath. The problem is, you straight cath every 4 hours, but there's PRN times. All of a sudden he'll be like, I'm full, I gotta be cath now, kind of thing. And those come up, you just don't know when. And so she was really nervous, and they had asked any of the other paras, and nobody was comfortable. She twice did catch the overheating, and they just don't, that's not their job.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
And
they're
so
not trained.
we
No.
talked to the principal and said, what, we need to do something different here, or we're gonna homeschool him. That's what it came down to, and she understood. And, so we were able to, through his home health company, get her to come to school with him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's, you have to make this big contract with Dubuque Community Schools. It's a little cumbersome, but gosh, it's worth it. To have a peace of mind when you put him, you know, through
Yeah.
that door.
Because you
Might
want
have
them
to
to
get
have
the
the
denial
social
from your
skills of
insurance.
going to school and interacting.
Exactly, I mean, homeschool was not on the radar at all.
No.
But when it comes to him being safe medically, you have to do what you have to do. And so I was grateful that it all worked out, and Christina helped me immensely with that. She did. I mean, she was amazing.
Yeah, she
Gave
talked us
me-
through it.
Yeah, she talked us through the whole thing, what we needed to do, and he was, they said usually it takes about 3 to 4 weeks to get approval to have this done, and he was approved in 5 days.
Oh, wow.
So they felt like his care was enough that he needed somebody at
Sure,
school
sure.
with him. which has been a blessing, hasn't it?
And you and
Right.
Allison are pretty good buds, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah, and it's kind of nice. Like I said, she's got boys too, so she gets it.
Yeah.
You know, and she's so willing. You know, UD for kids he couldn't do unless I went with him. There's no way we couldn't send him somewhere for a couple hours without any. She's like, oh, I'll go with him.
Oh,
You know?
Right.
Yeah, she's like, oh, no problem.
It's better for him too, I mean,
That's not a
kid wants
parent.
their parent to
Yeah.
get around with them everywhere they go.
Kind of a drag, aren't we?
Yeah.
Sometimes,
Like right now.
sometimes I'm your teacher, aren't I, huh? Yeah. And that's kind of a
I'm a
drag.
flip-flop.
You're a goofer.
Is that hard for you?
No, not with none of my kids. They I think more so they're quieter when I'm in there
Mhm.
because
Yeah.
they're like, oh, it's my mom,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Do you like when I'm in there?
Flip-flop.
Flip-flop.
What school do you go to?
What school? Harvard. The Harvard, don't ya? So.
Neat.
Every time Tuesday we get popcorn.
All right. That sounds like the
What's for
best.
lunch? PTG, we give you popcorn, don't we? Huh?
Yeah.
For Spirit Day? Oh, right. Right. So they get to dress up in their Carver clothes and, right.
So Steelers and Hawkeyes and nothing else, right?
What about your two blue chairs? You want to keep them in here?
Well, one's brothers.
There's one brothers.
Mhm. Do you wanna keep one?
Do you want them both go to brother, and we'll get you black something?
I think I'll keep mine.
You want to keep yours?
Yeah.
You
And I
want
got
to-
for my birthday and it's like it
Oh,
was
so
huge.
it's special.
Yeah.
Aunt Julie gave it to you, didn't she?
Yeah, and it was huge. And I was
Y'all good, y'all good.
wrap it.
It was so huge.
Isn't that cute?
Aunt Julie gave us all our chairs.
That's pretty
didn't she?
special then, isn't it?
Right.
And you like having your books out on the shelves? You
They're
have,
big readers.
okay.
Yeah. So somehow we need to keep books in
And are
here.
those Pinewood
That'd be
Derby cars?
Yeah.
You probably want them staying out here, don't you?
Yeah.
This is a nice wall. TV.
It is. It's got some. It's just a weird sized room.
So do you
It's not that weird, the hallway makes it weird.
Yeah.
Because this is sister's room on the other side.
would more shelving help over there?
You want more shelves to put
There's
your
some
stuff
books in
on?
there.
Put your books and your Pinewood
Just
Derbies
like
on?
one more.
You can always have shelves.
Right.
My
I think
feeling.
shelves are always helpful.
I'm sure you can find something to put on.
Or you could
you
keep
think?
your books low, so you could
Mhm.
reach them and maybe put some in your
Yeah.
collection.
And some of those are Quentin's that he'll take downstairs, and some of them.
And I could put my Pinewood Derbies on. My
gonna
Pinewood
be a
Derby
whole
goes
class
on
video.
shelf.
Did you tell them that's your trophy from this year?
Wow. Are these all your cars? Or some of them Clinton's?
Some are
Some of
Quentin's.
them are
Some are Clinton's?
Yeah.
But he's gonna cross over the boys down.
Oh,
We
Yeah.
could-
He is
Sure.
crossing over.
Why don't you show them which cars are yours?
Well, hold on. I'm just taking a picture.
You can photobomb.
How much is yours? He's got two so far, don't ya?
All right. Those are cool. Did you do all the painting yourself?
My dad
Dad
had.
helped you?
But he did
You
we
did-
make them
We
do
try to get-
most of it, and
Yeah,
then
they don't
the
get any
finer
of the sauce.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, the saw. No.
And I also had my trophy.
Cool.
Wow.
Second place.
awesome.
Awesome.
Do you have a current favorite picture of him?
I'm sure we could find one.
I
There's
did the
something
turtle horse
that
and I didn't
It
do
won't
very
look like
good.
exactly
Way
like
on
this
the bottom.
picture, it'll look different, but the image of himself will be the same that we kind of do for each room.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
they don't have to, or you can take one and it doesn't really matter what clothes
all
he
good.
has on and make it match the room.
That would be
Fine.
fine. Yeah, we have to
What's,
see.
what's easier for you, us to take one and
Either way.
send it to you, or?
Oh, you mean like take one today?
No,
Or
anytime,
whenever?
just sometime in the next week
Okay.
or so.
Okay. His school pictures I just ordered, but I don't know if they'll be in.
And you know, and I probably would be able to use them because of
Yeah.
copyright.
Okay, okay, so just a snapshot of
Mhm.
some sort.
Yeah, and it can be just him, it can be a family one, it doesn't, whatever, something, but it will be hung in here and it will kind of
Awesome.
match the room.
That's cool. Very
So
cool.
Hawkeye stuff for
Cool. Yeah, no, I'm sure we have one on our phone of him, and we'll just print it off and mail it to you.
Just email it to me.
Okay. You can do that, Mike. I'm so not technically savvy at all. I was like, sure, we'll have Mike do that.
Okay, we need to,
You need us out?
no,
No.
no,
You want
I
one
do
like
a
that,
little
or-
draft.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he looks serious though.
he's real serious
yeah.
in it.
Yeah, that's not his
We
first
Well, I
one.
just meant,
Just something
Yeah, we
fun.
need those dimples.
His tooth's almost down, his teeter-totter tooth.
Oh, yeah.
You know what though?
I don't mind.
Can I take a real good smiley picture right now of
You
you?
wanna just do that?
Right there?
yeah, that's fine.
When the